Mejia. Inspector Mejia, open the door. It's your partner, you drunken fool. Inspector Mejia.
Good day, Inspector Babouf.
You know what time it is, my friend? It's time for your disciplinary hearing, you drunkard. You're already late.
What do you speak of, my boy?
Don't feign ignorance. You're being investigated by Internal Affairs for moral turpitude.
Moral turpitude?
Get dressed.
Moral turpitude. Do you know what moral turpitude is?
I'm not familiar with the phrase. This morning was the first time I'd heard of it. However, were I to hazard a guess, Monsieur Cartier, I would wager that it relates to drunken incompetence, dereliction of duty, and a gross disregard for established protocol.
Indeed. Moral turpitude is just that. And precisely what I charge you with as you stand here before me right now.
Okay, I'll readily admit to making mistakes, Monsieur Cartier, but has my performance been that poor?
Need I remind you of your recent exploits, Inspector? I said, need I remind you of your recent exploits?
Inspector?
Inspector.
Inspector Guy Viguier, age 30, has been employed with the Metropolitan Police for the past 8 years, promoted to inspector 5 years ago. While initially putting in an exemplary performance in his capacity as inspector, his divorce from his wife 2 years ago led him into a pattern of alcoholism and moral turpitude. Since then, he has been profoundly incompetent in the execution of his duties. Over the past 2 years, he has crashed 9 different police-issued vehicles while driving intoxicated, threatened bar patrons with his police-issued handgun in drunken brawls, euthanized the dog of an elderly neighbor to settle a personal vendetta, and allegedly defecated on the doorstep of his ex-wife's new husband.
Okay. I now understand the definition of this moral turpitude you speak of. My performance has been truly abysmal.
Inspector Viguier, Inspector Babouf, for your crimes against the people of this great city, I hereby demote you to the Petty Sex Crime Division of the Detective Bureau. Now report to your new offices immediately.
What happened to you, Monsieur? You were not too long ago the most exemplary inspector of the entire Metropolitan Police Department, and you stand here before me now, a pathetic, drunken mess. What happened to you?
Do you know what it's like to have your wife abandon you for another man, comrade? The wife who inspired you to enter public service, drove you to become inspector at the tender age of 25, provided you with a drive and will to live and work and succeed. Do you know what it's like to watch her grow tired of you? Decide that you're an old hat? What it's like to watch her kick you to the curb?
No.
Then you know nothing of my situation, old bean. I am too far gone, Inspector Babouf. My life cannot be repaired.
Look, you've endangered my life in barroom brawls, you've enlisted me as passenger in drunken joyrides, and have permanently hindered my career as an officer. but I will not let you destroy yourself.
How do you suppose you'll stop me?
Official protocol. Here's our first case from the Detective Bureau from the Petty Sex Crime Division.
The toe-sucking bandit?
So, do you think we'll ever be able to do it?
I'll readily admit that the prospects for success are grim.
What makes you say that?
We haven't got any leads on the culprit, and I fear that the magnetic pull of the bottle is too powerful to resist.
Guy, we're not talking about that. We're talking about our work for the Petty Sex Crime Division of the Detective Bureau. And your quest to go dry? You speak as though they're the exact same thing.
Perhaps they are, my boy. Perhaps they are.
How about this? Do you think that catching a pervert will help you get off of the liquor for good? Or will getting off of the liquor for good help you catch a pervert?
No to both of the propositions.
You were sounding an optimistic note at the onset of this case.
I was also drunk at the onset of this case. Liquid courage.
Liquid courage? But, so you don't think we'll ever be able to do it?
Have you ever tried to quit drinking, monsieur? Do you know of the difficulties that come along with it?
No, you fool. I'm not talking about that. We're talking about the toe-sucking bandit. Do you think we'll ever be able to catch him?
Maybe someday, but as of now, we have yet to latch on to any leads. It would seem that the toe-sucking bandit is illusory, like a phantom. This is destined to be a cold case for many years to come.
A cold case? So we're just gonna let this file sit there dormant in a file cabinet collecting dust for a few more decades?
So it would seem. I would wager that a comparison can be made between a cold case and curbing self-destructive behavior.
The most urgent of objectives. Catching a pervert or a killer.
Or quitting drinking or smoking. The most urgent of objectives, thrown in a dusty filing cabinet for years on end. Yes, perhaps one day it will be open. Perhaps even resolved. But like all great detective stories, there'll be deception, red herrings, time where you must move back to square one, times where you must recognize that it may very well never be solved.
So you're telling me that your initial confidence was unfounded then?
Yes, I suppose it was. Eventually I may be able to put a stop to the drinking, but not in the meantime. And the toe-sucking bandit remains at large.